Hi everyone, and welcome to the Blu-ray Disc Virtual Roundtable. My name is Andy Parsons, and I'm the chair of the U.S. Promotion Committee for the Blu-ray Disc Association, and I also, in my day job, work for Pioneer Electronics. We're coming to you from 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment, and today we have a very special guest with us to talk to us about some really cool Blu-rays that are just coming on the market this week. And I don't think I really need to go into a long introduction. He's one of the most recognizable and most accomplished people in Hollywood. He's an actor, producer, and director, Danny DeVito.
Very nice to be here.
And
thank you.
I know you're here today to talk to us about two great films that have been released for the very first time this week on Blu-ray, which is Hoffa and also The War of the Roses. Thought maybe you could give us a...
Yeah, well, I'm thrilled, very excited. I'm totally into all the new things that happen in the world. I mean, I always thought that you're going to be born before 1966, you should stay away from all this stuff. But I'm totally hooked on it. I love it. It's from the social media things, to Twitter, and all the way down the line to everything that we do. And this is really a win-win situation for a filmmaker, somebody who cares about his work, somebody who really wants it to be realized by many, many, many people out there in the audiences. I jumped on the Laserdisc thing right away when I had made more Throw Mom from the Train and a couple of movies earlier when that started. And now that and then when we went to DVDs, totally excited. I love the idea of having that movie, owning that movie and keeping it in your library and being able to revisit it at any time. And now the icing seemed to be really getting thrown at the cake big time with the Blu-ray, because when Fox Home Entertainment asked me, that said they were going to do this, I was totally blown away, because I love looking at the details, hearing the sound as pristine and great as it is, as it can be, and even better. I honestly think if you look at the movie of, say, War of the Roses, which I love dearly, and you see Stephen Burum, who's the DP, his work is magnificent. Everything is detail, all the details of the house that Barbara Rose puts together. Everything is there. When you look at it in the movies, on the best screens, I've seen it in the best screens, projected the best way, and then compare it to what we have now with the Blu-ray. There are certain details in the Blu-ray that you didn't even, I know, because I picked the furniture and the this and the that, and how just visually, the nuances, the shadings, the lighting, the way things are put forth are amplified. Not amplified only just as an amplification, but realized. You actually get to see every single little detail that the filmmaker wanted you to see. And that at the time we were doing it, God, I love film. Don't get me wrong. It's I'm not going to put Citizen Kane down. I'm just saying that, in the scheme of things, when you look at it in your home, it's just mind blowing. It just takes you away. And so I was really thrilled that that we were going to do War of the Roses and Hoffa. Same DP, same amount of detail, same kind of things. I like when I shoot. We shot one in anamorphic, one spherical lenses. One of them's 1.85 regular, and the other one is anamorphic, just broadened, bigger scope, more scope. Totally different, better for the movies. You have to pick that when you're picking the subject, because it's not right for everything. But for that, and for Lawrence of Arabia and things that are, Dr. Zhivago, and any other movie maker that I can throw myself in with that I love. Any Stanley Kubrick movie. I was really thrilled to do it. And I also, I had this crazy idea that when they sent me a couple of Blu-rays to look at, say, the example. I think I had a couple of them already, but the idea is that they were saying, well, this is what it's going to look like. I know what it's going to look like. The whole idea of the way the ray works, I love. I mean, I'm not a tech person, but I know that the way the shape of the ray is the red ray, and then the blue ray touches down and gives you an opportunity to have like 5 to 10 more times more information given to you visually and audibly. Oral, what do you say? Audially? Orally. Orally is audibly. But anyway, the idea is that I was really excited to have it done. And, you get to see, like I say, you get to see all the major exciting details.
Well, the films just look gorgeous and sound amazing.
The music, also, I have on the we did a little bit more behind the scenes stuff for Blu-rays. We have David Newman, who's the composer. I talked to Jim Brooks, who was the producer of War of the Roses, and we watched the movies together again just to get another kick out of them. I also had this thing when they sent me these Blu-rays. That was I had an idea that I would like to introduce the movies, so I shot a little extra stuff. I went and Fox Home Entertainment. They gave me a camera and a couple of guys. We went and we shot a green screen, which is where you could put somebody in something. You guys know what green screen is. And I shot myself coming out of the letters of the Fox Home Entertainment intro logo, and just doing like a pitch band thing. It was like a lot of fun. I don't know. That week I was feeling like this. I'm really excited that they're coming out now.
Mm-hmm.
This is like, when do they get released? They release very soon, right? This week.
This week.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. But I was really pumped about doing this like little intro, like coming out like P.T. Barnum, coming out of the letters and saying, thanks for buying the Blu-ray. This is going to be so cool. And it's called a signature series, the director's signature series with War of the Roses and Hoffa. So I actually signed the air, and I put my name in there. I just love the fact that you can do all these little things. I marvel at the thing where I go crazy when I look at a movie like, that's put together by, all the technology, the technicians and the backgrounds and the other worlds, which whenever I come out of a movie like that, I always go, how do you make a movie like that? I mean, I could make a little bit bigger movie than My Dinner with Andre, War of the Roses, Hoffa. Okay, that was some scope in there, a lot of people. No, we didn't have any CG in that time, so all those people are real. It's not like we didn't add crowds. That's what I love about it. You're really seeing all these poor guys coming out of buildings and me yelling at them in the middle of the night in Chicago somewhere. It's just like, but it's great to see, and I'm really happy that we're doing it.
Well, I can say I've never seen a director do a soft shoe at the beginning of the film like that before. So.
And I don't dance. It's all make believe. It's all make believe.
Well, yeah, I just watched the films again this week to prepare for today, and I have to say they just look amazing, considering they're 20 years old.
Yes.
The scope, the epic scale of what you were shooting with Hoffa in particular, some of those scenes you're talking about, where you've got those huge crowds pouring out of the building, and all the fights and everything else going on. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
The DP did an amazing job.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It's a collaborative art. Everybody that you pick, that you work with, really contributes great to the production designer, the lighting, the DP, the casting, everything. That's what's great about films. And just forget about just people always talking about preservation. Yes, preserve the films. It's really terrific. What we're talking about really here with Blu-ray is celebrating the films. I mean, you really get to see. It's not just preserving something. It's getting to see something like that you've never seen before. I know you've experienced the movie, but now you're really it's gonna blow your mind. I mean, in terms of like the quality of David Newman's score and Steve's work and the DP's work and all the just different nuances, production designer and the costumes and just come together and they're laid right at your feet. I love that.
Now, I understand you were pretty deeply involved with the actual transfer to Blu-ray.
Yes.
Two films.
Yeah. Well, on both from when it was tape. Remember that? When it was, and then we went to Laserdisc, and I was introduced to a gentleman named Lou Levinson, who is I think, a guru of this art. And what it does is you take it to a machine, and everything's put up in front of you, and it's not like you're changing it drastically. You're not doing things that are, you could, because they can do anything to your work. But the idea is what you're doing is you're giving it this kind of like support that it's never had before. That film, which I like I said already, I love film. I think it's a great thing. But there is a kind of a way to take the film, because we shot in film, and just give it this like tiny little platform for it to like rest on and realize its true potential. So we sat at the machine, and you find things in the movie that you didn't. Well, you say, I remember that. I never saw that before. That shadow, that little thing, and that depth of what Steve was doing. It really is. Comes out at you, and it's really good. Everybody's contribution to the movie is enhanced.
And one of the things we wanted to do when we developed Blu-ray was to provide you as a filmmaker a way to present this in a way to a home audience that does exactly what you've been talking about. Is really just bringing out everything there is to see in the film in the best possible way.
Right, absolutely rich, beautiful colors. But even a movie that's shot in black and white, I mean everything, because black and white, just shades of gray, just different values. All the values that, if you can imagine like what Sven Nykvist or any of the great Bergman movies that were made on Blu-ray. Seventh Seal has got to be like a mind blower on Blu-ray. All of the things that you look at and you've always seen. And I have 78s records. I collect a lot of records, and I love just taking an old jazz record and sticking it on and listening to it in its original form. But I also must admit, I have that same jazz record on my iPad or phone, and to feel like you're right in the room with Dizzy Gillespie, or you're right in the room with. That's the feeling you get. You're right there with me making the movie, and it doesn't take you out of the movie at all. It brings you farther into the movie, and you bring that in your home. Come on. I mean, I don't like to go out anyway. Although, I like to go to the movies, go have a box of popcorn, flirt, stuff like that.
We are on camera, right?
Yeah, we're on camera.
Well, it's the films really look amazing, as I said, and they're very low lit, right? Most of the scenes they're relatively dark, right?
You'd be surprised how many lights you have to use to get it to look low lit. It's like, yeah, it's painting. Like basically, it's like I think that the people that I work with are artists, and truly. Whether it's Anastas Mikos, who does most of my movies now, we did Death to Smoochie together. There's so many different. There are nuances. It's literally these guys, Vilmos Zsigmond and all these, cats are painting with light. Mm-hmm. So they get it to look low lit. It's like with a lot of different methods and. So it's truly. I'm working with a bunch of artists.
I really was struck also by how lush the sound is on these two titles. I mean, the soundtrack is just gorgeous.
Yeah. Again, the big thing is if you have the opportunity to, and now with all, and this is like you say, it's 20 years ago. You record it right, you do it right, you get the right stuff. David Newman, who is. Brilliant. His whole family is just ensconced in music. His father was Alfred Newman, ran the Fox. the Fox recording stage, 20th Century Fox, is the Newman stage. There's Randy Newman, there's Thomas Newman, there's Lionel Newman. They did all the. If you look at all the old movies, that's my phone. If you look at all the old movies from years gone by, you'll see a lot of Newmans in there. And I'm going to shut this off. But if I know how, this is the thing. You see, this is what I was saying. You got to be really hip to do stuff like that. Okay, so it's we record with almost like almost a philharmonic. I guess I don't know how many pieces, but 100 people in the room in the Newman stage. And the reason that Newman stage is so lush, and the reason it's like finding that nugget. It's like if you talk to I don't know Bob Dylan, but I'm sure if you say, what's your favorite recording studio? He knows, exactly where, what the wood, what the ambiance,
the
acoustics is like, irreplaceable by anything that we can conjure up. These are buildings that are built like to last, and David's music just resonates in there, fills it up such a cool way, and it's very important to me, the sound and the music. So
the thought struck me as I was watching these that I think these seem to be very special films to you, very very personal films.
Every movie you make, I think this is probably I share this, I know, with a lot of filmmakers. It's like your baby. They're your kid. They're your your son or your daughter. I have two daughters and a son, but they're like a treasure. And so you nurture them, you treasure them, whether it's from Shane Hoffa, War of the Roses, Death to Smoochie, whatever movies I've put together, Matilda.
Yeah, huge hit in our house.
It's like when you're giving birth, when your wife is having going through that agonizing thing, and you're helping as much as you can. It's like the same kind of thing. This baby's being born, and you want everything good for the baby. You want the best this and best that. You want it to eat well, and you want it to be clothed. You want it to be warm and nurture and take care of it. And you look at them, movies that way. You say, like, I look at Death to Smoochie, which was a movie that I did at another studio. I put, you put a year of your life into the movie and you love it,
mm-hmm.
and everything about it, and you look at Matilda and you go, my goodness, those kids and the Roald Dahl story and all that stuff. So I believe, like, if you went to any filmmaker would say that those the care that you give to each movie is like on an even keel, because it is unrequited love. You give it to the movie gives it back to you. As soon as you show it to people, you're getting that love. Now, what's great about this is that all that care and all that detail put onto this Blu-ray is going to be able to be brought into people's homes, and you'd be able to sit there and really enjoy the experience the way the filmmaker intended.
So when you buy the disc, you also have it on your shelf for years and years and years to come. You have like an archive copy of it, and you put so much time and attention to making it look spectacular on the disc that now you can look at that anytime you want.
Yeah, and knowing now that what we have, I think it's gonna change a lot of like the way you do things behind the scenes, because I think one of the first things I ever saw was I know that was going on when I was doing War of the Roses, but all the stuff I did behind the scenes and the commentary and the crazy antics, that was just on speculation. You didn't know whether that was going to be attractive to people or not, or you were going to say, "Oh, shut up, you idiot." You know what I mean? What do you do? You're blabbing on and on about this. But people seem to like it. I like it. And so it's a kind of thing where, from like all the movies that you make from now on, they're always going to have like, you're always going to wind up saying, I put the camera over there and look at what they're doing. Okay, we'll just save that for the Blu-ray.
Right.
We're going to stick it on the special. We do it now with It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. We shoot a lot of stuff that's like, Fox isn't going to put on TV. But we could put it on the disc.
Well, you probably weren't thinking like that in 1989,
No.
1992, right?
Oh,
When you made these
although
two
if you
films.
look at Hoffa, I have a little thing on Hoffa where I remember this vividly. I had this my personal assistant who was also the videographer, who is now a big time post-production supervisor for Peter Jackson. He followed me around with a little camera, a little tiny like camera. That's your phone. Okay, he with a little camera, and I remember we were doing a location scout around the woods. I had to take a leak to beat the band. I was like, come on, go ahead. You guys keep going. I'm going in the woods. So I veer off in the woods. You follow me. You know what I mean? So now it's all on the disc. I left. I mean, you don't see it. You just see me standing there, looking away, taking a leak in the woods. And it's kind of like, it's a double-edged sword, I guess. But I was the one who had control over cutting it, so I left it in because it was I thought it was pretty funny. And there's the other thing we're talking about, lights. There's a great big expanse of a yard where and factories around a factory yard, and we've got all this. I got this crane, and I've got all kinds of stuff planned where I'm going to shoot the guys. All the men coming together. Like I said, no CGI. It's all real. So I have these condors all around with lights on them and men up there, guys working, and it's late at night, and and every night that you shoot, if you shoot a row of nights, you lose three minutes a night. It gets lighter earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You get less light, less night every day. 3 minutes. So one night we were getting this really crucial scene. I had tons of background artists all lined up, everybody going. Jack was there. All this stuff is going. I got I said, look, I know it's lunchtime. Can we let's eat lunch? Let's not break for lunch. Now you got guys who are 30 feet in the air in the contours or whatever, how high. And there's a great shot of a roll of toilet paper being hauled up. So I left it. The old irreverence. Oh, you'll never get rid of that.
Well, that sounds like an amazing
Dedication, man. You're dedicated.
amazing experience making a film like
Yeah,
that.
it's amazing. It was amazing.
Well, I feel like we could talk for hours about this, but I think probably what we need to do now is to go off camera and do the Q&A portion.
All right.
We'll do that in
I'll
a
sip
chat
of my
form.
tea.
So before we go into the Q&A, we're going to run a couple of clips. First one will be one from Hoffa, and next will be War of the Roses.
Fantastic.
And then we'll get into the Q&A section. So thanks very much for attending today.
Thanks very
And,
much for listening.
And have a great day.